It's been almost 3 months since terrorists murdered 4 Americans in Benghazi. And yet the Obama administration sits by as the prime suspect continues to walk free and mock the United States. Joining me now, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer from D.C. and terrorism analyst Erick Stakelbeck from D.C. as well. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening, Judge.
All right, talk to me. I'll start with you, Erick. There is talk of this two guys, Khatallah, as well as this other guy who is Abu Ahmad. Khatallah is walking around in Libya pretty much mocking the United States. What is going on, and how is it that he is a suspect and he hasn't been picked up?
Well, look, Judge, Khatallah is the leader of this group, Ansar al-Sharia, which was very likely behind the consulate attack. Now, he's actually doing media interviews, Judge, where he's in cafes in Benghazi drinking a Frappuccino, talking to reporters and saying, hey, no one has picked me up. No one has questioned not only me, but anyone from my organization, Ansar al-Sharia. This is insane, Judge. It's great today that we picked up a guy named Abu Ahmad in Egypt who was also involved in the Libya attack. But look, he's in Egypt. The guys who actually carried out the bulk of the attack, Libyans, we haven't picked anyone up. And as you said, this guy is a free man walking around in Libya. You think in the very least that we could apply some pressure to the Libyan government, which we helped make this new government happen, apply some pressure to them to at least pick him up and question him.
All right, and Colonel Shaffer, now the photo that we've been showing, that full screen, is Abu Ahmad. That's the guy who was picked up in Egypt. Now, the Egyptians released this guy during Arab Spring last year in March of 2011.
That's
now, they're in the middle of this full-scale revolt, you know, thousands of protesters protesting the government, and they're picking up this guy that we want, that we think may be connected to the attack in Benghazi. What's going on there? Is this for real? Who is this guy?
No, it's not for real. I think this is another thing they're trying to do to basically buy time for whatever they want to do. Let's be very clear here. He was released as part of this entire release of a number of radicals last year. This is a secondary effect that we should have seen coming regarding Arab Spring. And since then, we've seen a complete increase of, obviously, Ansar al-Sharia. All these other individuals have taken an active, not only active measures to actually do things against the United States, they're continuing to plan these things. And let me contrast this whole situation by another incident 12 years ago with the Cole attack. Notably, and this is something your audience can Google instantly, Louis Freeh personally was in Yemen within the first 30 days of that attack on the USS Cole in October of 2000, with over 100 FBI agents on the ground working that hard. My goodness sake, Egypt's an ally. Syria is a country that we helped liberate. We can't do the same now. Are you kidding me? 12 years later? So this tells me there's a complete either unseriousness about our investigation, or there's something dreadfully wrong. And I think it's all about no political will to do the right thing here.
Well, and it's certainly, Colonel, a message to the rest of the world that we're not really serious about what we're doing. But let's go back, Erick, to this guy Khatallah, who is in Libya. And this guy Khatallah, who is supposedly connected to Ansar al-Sharia and will not say openly, as I understand it, whether or not he was involved in the attack on the embassy, pretty much has shown his disdain for the United States. And have we even spoken to him?
No. To my understanding, Judge, to the best of our knowledge, no one from the U.S. has spoken to him. And he says he was at the consulate during the September 11th attack, Judge, but he was just helping to remove people who were trapped inside the consulate. That's his version of the story. Look, at the end of the day, the Obama administration, and Tony said it, is fundamentally unserious about this Benghazi investigation, Judge. In my estimation, they just want Benghazi to go away. Number one, they want to focus on domestic issues. Number two, they want to empty out of the Middle East and pivot to Asia. That's the new strategy for the Obama administration militarily.
But before we run out of time here,
Sure.
Tony, I want to ask you about whether or not the United States has had an opportunity to question this guy, Abu Ahmad, Jamal Abu Ahmad, the guy in Egypt. Have we spoken to him?
No, my understanding is that they have notified us that he's been rolled up, But now we have to go through an entire separate process to gain access to him, and there's no guarantee, Judge, that we will ever question him directly. This may be us giving them questions, hoping that they actually ask them. So we don't know. Again, this is as far as I'm concerned, just a bait, just baiting us out there to make us think they're making progress with no guarantee anything is going to be done to actually help the investigation.
Here we go again. We've got these guys who were targets. We haven't spoken to either one of them in Egypt or Libya while they continue to get our money. Shame on us. Tony, Eric, thanks so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank